Independent grind powered by Tech 9.
All right, we're on the phone with Lofty305. How you doing, man?
Yo, I'm chilling, man. Out in Portland making some beats right now. Chilling.
What are you doing out in Portland?
I got a show on Friday. I'm going to do a pop-up shop on Thursday here, so just making some...
You ever been to Pine State Biscuits out there?
What, biscuits?
There's this place out there, Pine State Biscuits. It's like the best breakfast food I've ever had. So I'm just curious if you ever check out the food in Portland or like your favorite spots to hit up out there.
I mean, I had a sushi-rito yesterday.
Yeah.
But I've been eating a lot of Uber Eats. But I do need to hit that donut spot, the Voodoo Donuts, and what's it called? Let's see, whatever biscuit spot you're talking about. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I like breakfast.
Yeah, I was out there and I had to wake up. It sucks that you got to wake up like 6 a.m. because there's always a line, but it was like totally worth it.
Yeah.
Voodoo Donuts is dang too.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and
talk about music.
We'll take it back to the beginning. You're from South Florida, correct?
Yep, I'm from Miami-Dade County.
Okay. Like Florida has obviously kind of became somewhat of a mainstay in hip hop now. Can you take us back to just like when you were growing up, like what the scene was around there and everything?
Like when I first started and shit, like making my music and shit, like there's always been like rap coming out of Miami, like the whole bass music scene, like 2 Live Crew, and like Trick Daddy, Pitbull, like world-renowned artists and shit coming out of here. So it was like, and all the musicians come down here to like chill and like, you feel me? And to make music and throw money and shit. So there's always been like that like weird element to it. You just see like hella Lambos and shit around. So I don't know, like the show business thing is like pretty like common around here. But I guess when we first started, it was like either you make like hella backpack rap or you was on some like, just street shit, straight up. Like, they had like the whole stick drill scene, like juking shit. And I was like grind mode, like, and I'm so high. You feel me?
Did you get any influences from out there?
Yeah, for sure. Like, definitely, like, our first material, and even my material now, like, stems from the whole, like, Miami's always been on some hip-hop shit, but the rave shit was always a part of it. Just like 2 Live Crew was, like, some ghetto rave music, you feel me? Because it was, like, about the party and, like, So there's always, like, that hint of, like, the nightlife in our shit and, like, that sound too of like electronic dance music, feel me? Like just like, because Miami just has that vibe, we got like that Ultra Fest and shit, like, hella ecstasy mob.
Did that scene kind of make you want to make music, or has just music always been something that you've been interested into?
Well, I was like more of like, I like stories and just the arts in general. When I was a kid and shit, I mostly like books and shit. But Ruben Slick, who's my older brother, he was hella into music and pretty much just got me into it. I just showed me cool shit. And yeah, he'd go to like Kmart and like get albums and shit. And I would listen to all the shit that he bought, And then when we got like the computer going, then it was just easy to just listen to music from all over. And that's when we started really like getting programs and getting all types of rap shit, And that basically became our influence.
Were you a big Art Basel guy? Was that around back then?
Yeah, like I was actually around for the first one ever. I think I went the third one is the first one I ever went to. If I'm correct, it was about year 2008 you know. And then '09 we had our own exhibit. So yeah, we've been around since the beginning of that shit, since like the beginning of the art district and all that shit, you know. It's kind of been trippy to see that shit transform because I don't know, Miami's just, it wasn't like that, but like it definitely changed it. Like Art Basel and all that shit changed like how Miami's viewed and how that shit is now. It's just hella fucking art on all the walls and shit. Very Soto Sopa. You feel me?
Yeah, that shit's like a festival now.
Yeah, it's just weird as fuck. I mean, it started off as a festival, but it was like more about like, if you were really into art and shit, then you'd know about it, you know? Now it's just like hella fucking concerts and crazy shit going on. Streets are hella packed and flooded with people.
So you also make art too, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm a illustrator, conceptual artist, all types of mixed media. I do hella shit. Like I just make hella shit, you know?
Yeah, I know you do a lot of like clothing designs too. I'm just sort of curious how you kind of balance them, or like do you, even just in terms of marketing, like do you see it all as one entity, or do you sort of compartmentalize, like you put, you know, I'm working on rap now, or I'm feeling doing clothes now. How do they all work together?
My brain's hella compartmentalized. Like it's like Ben 10 and shit. Like I'll go through like a phase. There was like a phase definitely in time very recently that I woke up every day and I was like, I'm a fucking game dev, bro. You know, just working on video games and shit. And then I was like, all right, time to make this album. And I was like, yeah, I got bars. Like, you feel me? I go through my different phases. I'm just like, but it always comes back around and they all work with each other because like the crazy thing about video games is like, it's the art. It's like you're drawing shit and you're kind of telling the story and you're also like doing some fucking crazy shit with the sound. Like the music is a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like making games, I think, is really what I'm going to be ending up doing because it's everything that I've been learning through all the other walks of life that I've taken and morphing them all into one. You feel me?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's like a sort of a sign now, or what's called a trend now is, you know, it's not just about music now, but it's sort of like what other things like the personality artists bring to the table, whether that's, you know, just like clothing or as you said, in your case, video games and stuff. So I think it all sort of have you found that sort of it's helped your brand as a whole to have these different sort of attacks or approaches?
I don't know. It helps and it also like confuses the fuck out of people. So, you know, thankfully I got like a good team now that's pretty much helping me like focus and magnify certain projects that I'm dropping, you know. But, you know, the heavy output and the variety of things that you're putting out is like always going to confuse the fuck out of people. Like if Coca-Cola came out with like 50 flavors off top, then I think it would have been a little bit harder for them to, you know, get their footing in the industry and shit. But I'm in it for the long run, you know? So once it starts to make complete sense, to me, I think shortly after it'll start to make sense to like people right away. But if not, I don't mind them getting like a little piece of it and fucking with that. Like if people just fuck with my music, I'm thankful for that, you know? And they don't have to go into my drawings or clothing or none of that shit, you know? And the same thing about anything else that I do. Like when I drop a video game, people might never know that I even made it, you feel me? Like, and that's fine with me. Like, I'm not trying to make, you know, Def Jam Vendetta or some shit. I'm not going to put myself in the fucking game. Like, yeah, it's just like going to be its own thing. Like, you don't look at Crash Bandicoot and be like, oh yeah, this guy's such a baller, bro, who made that shit. You just like, I don't know who made that shit off top,
That's true,
you know?
yeah.
Like what? Naughty Dog, you know?
Yeah.
You know, a company name maybe if you care, but it's not about, it's not really about personality. A lot of things that I do, like my illustrations, I guess it's a little bit more personal, but not really. Like, I'd rather people just be like, yo, I know these characters. You feel me? And just take the character as a personality and just forget about me altogether. And that's like some real shit. That's when you got like some, all right. You know, because I don't know, when I see like Dragon Ball Z and all that shit, I don't think of the nigga who made it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, there go Piccolo, there goes Goku. Yeah, Goku would say this. Da, da, da. I'm not like, oh yeah, the writer would have said. You feel me? So the shit's so
is your
decadent.
music is your music that same way, or is the music the same way, or is the music sort of like you and you're putting yourself at the center there?
The music's me, you know. So it's just like, music is all the different like phases of creativity I go through. You know, it's a little bit more personal and to do with my personality, I think. You know, except when I'm doing like instrumental type shit, then I just go crazy. Like, I can go off into concepts with that shit. But as far as my music, I like to keep that shit very, you know, very unique, very me. Because I don't know, in everyday life, I don't really be like, so I'm outspoken. Like, I speak up when I need to, but I be like hella fucking daydreaming and shit. So the music is like a time where I could just get out all the shit that I'd like to say, you know? It's pretty cool.
Is producing something that you've always been doing, or is that a new thing for you?
I mean, I started out producing initially because, I mean, like, I always wrote raps and shit. I'd write shit, but in terms of like spitting and like my cadence and shit, I had to work on that. And I had Slick and Postronaut to like guide me through that shit like later on. But I started off producing because it was just something that I could do and just fucking dedicate all my time to when I was younger. I didn't really like parties and all that shit. I just like computers. So that's pretty much the reason why I got into music, because all the fucking programs were like easy for me to get. So, and like figuring out how to use them was easy because I always looked up tutorials to do other shit that I needed to do, like whether it's like getting some emulators going, you feel me? Like,
yeah,
I was like always trying to get some
YouTube shit, whatever.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was trying to play Dreamcast on my computer type shit. So I knew about like looking up how to do shit that you didn't know how to do. Feel me?
Would you say you made a name for yourself in producing before you did rapping, or which kind of came first before people were recognizing you?
Shit, I think I made a name for myself producing in terms of like, you know how people have like when you're a teenager and shit, you're trying to find like, oh, you're that kid who fill in the blank, you know?
Right.
I definitely like solidified myself like, yo, this nigga got beats, like young as fuck. Like at least like, you know, like 16, 15, 16, or at least just for my group of friends, you know? I wasn't like a socialite, you know? I was just like a pretty rare motherfucker. I would just make beats all day, you know? But I definitely had that name of like, yo, this nigga got fire beats. And then, you know, once the rap shit started taking off, that's when I started getting hella like internet fame, like, which means just fame in other places too, you know? But mad people don't even know that I make beats now. They're just like, oh yeah, you're the guy from that one song, you know? But I don't mind though. Like, I'm not like, yo, respect me. I'm not a rapper. Yeah. It's like, nah, I'm a rapper to some people. I'm okay with that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You probably get asked it a lot, but can you speak on like Raider Clan and kind of like that era? Because you're a part of that, obviously, and being from South Florida.
I'm not like a huge part of it. You feel me? Like, I was just like, it kind of just everything popped off at the same time, and we were all around each other. So like, but it's like completely different vibes. You feel me? Like between the crews and shit. But it's like, yeah, like Raider Clan.
Did they know of you from producing and stuff like that, or?
It was like I just met. I know Denzel Curry. He knew of me. You know. We've been like talking like a year before we had met up in person during all the Raider Clan times and all that shit. Like, I was like that was later on for me. Like, I didn't start off. That's not like when I started, you know. So it's just like I know that's when a lot of people found out about my shit, though, for sure, you know. But I've been going since like '07. You feel me? Like '08, like dropping projects online and shit. So I just like I definitely recognize that shit as like a turning point for me, popularity wise. But I think a lot of it was like, you know, this hype shit. Like people were hype off that whole like wave and shit, and you know.
Yeah, I think it's just, I guess people, group you guys together just because of that internet fame. And that was like the first time, even in just like the rap community, that we saw like people getting big off, you know, being big on the internet. Would you say you were bigger on the internet than you were in your hometown?
So around Miami, like people who make music and shit, they know me. Like they'd be like, yo, I used to smoke to like Kush Pack or Buddha Therapy. You know, I have like hella people who like show respect, you know. And it's not on some shit where I was never like hella Hollywood and shit. I was just like down to chill with whoever. You feel me? Like that's pretty much how I like started like doing shows and all that shit. Like we would just get a warehouse space and tell people to pull up, you feel me? And you know, from then we pretty much created a scene for the internet rap shit out in Miami. Feel me? Like through those underground shows we used to throw, and like, yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Shit's trippy. Like I was like out the trunk, like on some like, you know, like those Texas artists and shit. That DJ Screw shit. Just burning my own shit. Except we weren't selling it. We were just giving it to people like on some crazy shit.
Yeah, normally I always like people want to hand you albums and I'm like, no, because then they want $5 after it. Like someone be like, here, yeah, listen to my, especially like in New York, I've noticed that is like people stand by the subway and be like, yo, take my album, and then ask for like $5 or $10.
Yeah,
like, hey, you just gave this to me.
Now we were selling like USBs and shit, like USB, like data discs and fucking what's it called? You call them data bands and shit. And then we used to sell shirts. That's how we used to like get money off that shit. But the music was free, and we were like adamant about that shit.
And now I know you've sort of grown from you know Florida. You've been in LA, Atlanta, Oakland. You're in Portland now. You're sort of hopping around. How is traveling and sort of being in different locations help you grow as an artist?
It just keeps me like fresh in my mind. Keeps me from like thinking too hard about shit. You know. It's like every artist goes through some shit where you're like, all right, I've been doing this shit for so long and I'm not where, you know, I need to be. I'm not where like a lot of people I know are, blah, blah, blah. But when I'm traveling, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I'm just like, all right, what in the fuck is my next flight? And you feel me? And between that time of like just being hella busy because I'm in a place for only so long, and then I just work and make shit like as much as I can, because I know like it's impossible to work when you're like walking towards a fucking like airplane and shit. You know, you can work on the airplane or whatever, but you know, it just like gives me this urgency and like this feeling of adventure that I'm like on a level. I'm not like in the fucking home world loading screen portal mob. You feel me? Like I don't know, like if you're in the place where you were like born and shit and you just stay there, there's this whole feeling of stagnancy and depression that comes along with that.
Definitely.
Which I just like, that shit is chasing it's like chasing me out here, because I'm just like, you know, I'm an artist, I'm getting older, you know, doing the art, growing with this shit, and it's like, that shit is definitely something that you think about. You're like, how much longer can I do this shit? But the answer is forever now, because I know, like, all right, I'm just going to cop a fucking ticket every week and just pop up in a new place till I get bored of that shit, you know, and figure out my new strategy, you know.
Where's a place you're looking forward to going you haven't been yet that you're like sort of trying to get to?
Sydney, like Australia. What else? Berlin. Never been to Berlin.
I read your read your Noisy interview from like 4 years ago or something, and it was saying that you left Miami to go to Europe for a while. Was that the first time that you were like, all right, I got to get out, like I got to go do some other shit?
The first time I dipped like was when I went to New York, you know, and then after New York, like that was like 2012, I think. After New York and shit, I just came back to Miami for a few months, and I was like, hell no. And then I fucking went to Paris, and then I was like, damn, like I got to Paris off this music shit, no turning back, like shit's dope as fuck. I just kept grinding from there. You feel me? Ended up going all the way up.
Were you doing shows or anything?
Yeah, I did hella shows in Europe. I did some shit in Tokyo. Did like a few shows in Tokyo and a pop-up shop and shit. Yeah, man, that shit was cool as fuck. I still need to go to South America and Africa and shit, but I've been a few places and I'm hella grateful, thankful for that shit. Just like I forget.
You mentioned the,
you know.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I forget like all the places I've been sometimes.
That's a good problem to have. Yeah, you mentioned the pop-up shops, and I'm curious, and you mentioned sort of like, you know, selling shit out of your trunk. I feel like sort of pop-up shops are the new version of that in hip hop, and like you see a lot of people trying to do these pop-up shops and everything from the biggest levels like Kanye on down. People are doing them. Can you sort of explain how you sort of how this became part of something you want to do and how you sort of even set it up?
Like it's just like some artsy shit, some art shit. You just be like, yo, this is my shit. You feel me? Like you make hella shit, hella items, and you just put that shit on display. It ain't nothing new. It's like, you know, if you watch Aladdin and all that shit, and nigga was running through the merchant shops and shit. Like I won't let nobody hit a lick on my pop up, but just like back in the day, people used to have like, you know, they make pottery or some shit. Mm. They had a craft that was handed down, you know. And then you'd be like, yo, I'm going to sell that shit at my shop. It's the same shit. It's like rappers want to make money nowadays. They're not like just trying to get like date raped and given like big houses and a car and be like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm happy. Nah, they want to be like, all right, I got some shit for the future, you know? So it's just a business model that's old as fuck that rappers just started using because it makes money, you know?
Especially because they're not making it off the music anymore with streaming. So you got to find some way to make money.
I mean, you get a little bit of money off streaming. If you stream enough, you get a nice little chunk, you know? And it's also about having enough music online. If you only have like 10 songs up, and you're not getting enough, you're getting a little bit, but you're not getting enough. Just put up like 10,000 songs. You feel me? Yeah. And it doesn't matter how much streaming you get. It's like, all right, I don't worry about that. That's a check. Like, you know, now while you're sleeping, people are streaming your shit.
Yeah, I think you see that with like a lot of rappers now that have been putting out like a shit ton of music videos and everything. And they finally get their shining light or whatever on a few tracks, and then everybody just goes through and fucking streams the shit out of like all their old shit.
You get money, bro, off of that shit. Like,
yeah,
it's not crazy. It's not like $1 million, but let that fucking platinum record come through. Let that number one record come through, and then it's like, oh shit, that's check. You know?
I know you've collabed with a few of them, but what's your take on some of these young guys coming out of Florida, like X and Wi-Fi and Slump God and stuff?
Yo, man, everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's fucking working hard as fuck. I see them doing these shows and shit. And that shit is hard work to just be on the road all the time and fucking performing and all that shit. So it's commendable, you know? Everybody's effort is very commendable, and I'm hella proud, you know, to be from Florida right now. It's hella cool.
Do you see those guys like looking up to you at all, or did you like know of them before they were anybody, stuff like that?
It's like I don't see a reason why anybody should look up to me. I'm not like looking down on anybody or like trying to, you feel me? I just want what's like destined for me. You feel me? In terms of like my goals that I need to accomplish or whatever. But yeah, like I vibe to all their music and shit. Like I hear that shit and that shit's hard, then I'm a vibe to it, you know? Like I'm not like fucking hell no. Everybody gotta niggas ain't did no
Some
track
Joe
to
Budden
me.
type
I'm
shit.
right, yeah. Joe Budden that shit. I'm sure I could be Joe Budden if I wanted, because I'm just like I'm Gemini as fuck, but today I'm like, nah, everybody's cool, you know? But I'm also like hella like I don't mind like being like competitive with the shit. Like I'm sure like I make the hardest shit. Like you feel me? But you know, people will notice one day. But I make the hardest shit for sure. You feel me?
You got anything you're working on you want to let us know about? Any upcoming shit?
Yeah, I got an album coming out on November 7th. www.lofty305.com. And that's like basically my first like real debut album. Like that I worked on it hella hard, so I'm mad proud of it and shit. And yeah, that's
all your own production, or where's that coming from?
Nah, it's all like I got some production on there, Postronaut got some production. You know, like it's all in-house though, pretty much. And I got like some production from my homie Troy Cameron, also from Oski A, who's dude out of Sacramento. But other than that, it's just all in-house beats, like my beats, my producer Mike, you know, he's got a few beats on there. And I did a few beats like together, like, you know, I'll make some shit, then pass it down to Postronaut. He'll fuck with it, send it back. I give it to Mike, he mixes it down. And it was a group effort. But pretty much, yeah, I was at the helm for like production and like for the direction of the album. And, you know, shit's gonna be dope as fuck. Like, definitely gonna impress some fans and get some new fans off this shit. I already know. Like, I'm hella confident about it.
Is it all you? You got any features on there?
I do have a couple features. I got 12 Lead on a track. I got Denzel Curry and Ruben Slick on a track. Who else?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think those are my only features though. Oh, and I got DJ Smokey. He made the beat for the one that me and 12 Lead are on. See if I see this shit over here. I think those are my only features though. If not, then surprise. But yeah. It's really like it's a personal album, you know. I didn't want to like have hella features or like the features
Yeah, I think
that
you
I
gotta
got.
do that for kind of like your first album.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, sparingly, but the songs with features are dope as fuck. That's why they're on there. Cause I was like, shit, I don't want no features, but it's just hot. Sure.
Is that gonna be out everywhere as far as like streaming platforms and
Yeah, it's gonna be out like
everything like that?
Apple Music, Spotify, all that shit, all of that.
This is the genius, Chris Calico. Cali, baby. Letting you know you're tuned into Tech Nine's Independent Grind on Dash Radio.